Okay, I guess it is a lot louder. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the parent orientation for the fall season. So if we could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll just go over a quick agenda of what we're going to go over tonight. Like I said, for the most part, this is just going to be basic information. Most of this information you can actually find on the website. But since you guys are new to it, we figured we'd have a parent orientation, kind of go over all the stuff, and then if there's any questions or anything like that we could help you with, we'll definitely answer those. Another thing is, like I said, is if you have a question or concern or anything like that about your individual player, cheerleader, team, can't help you tonight with that, sorry. We don't have our computers and stuff like that here. But we can definitely jot down your information. We'll have somebody reach out to you tomorrow once the office is open and gets all that information. So if you guys do have a question or something like that, please come up to us. We'll jot your information down, phone number, email address, and we'll have somebody reach out to you tomorrow and make sure you do it. Especially, I think we had a couple parents that haven't got contacted by coaches yet. Yeah, at least let us get, we'll need your birth date of your son, so that way, or daughter, that way we can look them up in our system and then we'll figure out what's going on with that. So we're going to let, I'm going to start off with Nicole and Landrick right away. Like I said, I thought it was important to have them come speak with you guys. A little joke, I call them the first family of NMYAFL. What's crazy is they actually, both of them, like I said, are board members. They're both coaches in NMYAFL. They've been both coaches for a long time. They have 3 kids. All 3 kids participate in NMYAFL. 4 kids? Yeah, 4 this year. I forgot about Jericho. They have 4 kids. All 4 of them participate in NMYAFL. So the whole household is, NMYAFL. So it's great. One thing, like I said, it's all volunteer basis. So what you'll see is on Saturdays we're all from Cleveland area, so we're commissioners up in Rio Rancho. So literally every Saturday during football season, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock at night, we're at the fields commissioning, watching the kids. Making sure everybody's safe, making sure the games are running smooth and on time. So we dedicate and volunteer a lot of time. So I'm going to have them come up and speak before we get into everything else. So here you guys go.
I guess I'll speak for myself. I'll let him speak for himself. But I am really happy to come in and speak to you all today. Football season is my favorite season of the year. And it has been for a long time, but it especially has been my favorite season since our kiddos started participating in the NMYAFL program. My husband and I both coach for the same team, so I'm the cheer coach, he's the head football coach, and our kiddos all participate. So our son plays on the football team, and both of our girls have cheer for that same football team. And what makes it so special is that we're all together all the time. We're doing the same thing, we're at the same practice. We're not going in 16 different directions. As I'm sure you know, if you have active, busy kids already, sometimes it can get a little hectic. You're going to 3 different drop-off places, and then you got to run back and pick people up, and you got to squeeze some dinner in somewhere around there. Homework once we're in school session. So football season is my favorite time of year because we're all together. We all go to the same field for practice. We're all at practice together. We load up the car together. We go home together, and we finish out our nightly routine together. It really makes a big difference when there's a program where your entire family can get involved. A lot of programs are singularly aligned, so it's just the one kiddo who's involved, or it's just the team for that one kid, or dad and that kid are coaching here, and so it kind of divides your family, and you're split going a million different directions. And NMYAFL really is a program where everybody in the household and even beyond the household can get involved. grandparents can get involved, aunts and uncles can get involved, cousins can get involved. I know on our team, we have a football player whose 2 cousins cheer for that team. So their extended family is all participating and doing the same thing. They are all together on Saturdays, on game days, and that really makes a big difference in the experience of what you're doing in that activity. Everybody's kind of rooting for the same cause, going for the same thing, and you don't feel so crazy and tired and stressed because you're trying to remember 16 different things. Although, I am trying to remember water, cleats, pads, helmet. Do I have 4 pom-poms? Do we have enough water to get us through the day? Does Dad have his coaching shirt and his commissioning shirt? So there are 16 things, but at least we're all going to one location. We're not going to lots of different places. So it really transforms our family during football season. We're a lot closer, we're having a lot more fun together, and I really appreciate this program for that. And I think that's why we stay so involved and why we volunteer so much of our time, because it's pretty easy because we're already there, we're already doing it. And we enjoy the things that we get to do, the assistance that we get to give to the kids in our community. I love when I'm shopping at Walmart and there's kiddos that we coached years ago who are like, oh, Coach Nicole or Mrs. Brody, that, hi, how are you doing? And so it's fun to really stake a claim to the community and really get involved. And so I encourage you, even if you may not be a future football coach or a future cheer coach, to get involved some way with your team. Volunteer for those small things that you can do to make a difference for your team. Your head coaches, your team moms will really appreciate it. If there's a need for somebody to bring water, or go get ice, or do an extra snack once we get into playoffs that that wasn't originally on the snack schedule. Those type of things really do make a difference. Get to know the kiddos on that sideline. Figure out who's blocking for your kid, or who's your kid blocking for. It really makes a difference when you get connected to the team. It's a long season that goes by this fast when you're really committed and involved and invested in what's going on. So I could talk for a long time. Bill and Phil know that, and Landry especially knows that, so I'll give him a chance to talk too.
Thank you guys. It's like her. This is kind of a privilege to come up and speak to you guys. With Chase Field, I killed him. He always says that first family stuff until people come out and see me yelling at my kids on game day. And like, this guy's crazy. I look at this as I enjoy the experience. It's an experience in itself. That's the way I look at it. A lot of people say it's just a game. To me, it's different. It's done a lot for my life. I met my family. I met my wife, and we formed our family through football. Like I came here in 2000 on a football scholarship, and I went to school at UNM, and this is how I met my wife. This is how I got my family. It got me an education. The experience is what I enjoy. This is my way of giving back to a game that gave so much to me. You'll see, I'm passionate about the kids, because at this age, what you teach them is what they carry for the rest of their lives. And to me, it's all about the experience. This league is rich in tradition. You come across coaches and people that have been around and they stay around forever. I coached a team. I worked at NMYAFL for about 4 years. And I coached a team in 08 and 09. I was fresh out of college. I didn't even have a kid on the team. It was my first couple of years coaching, and now I get kids that run up to me. They're graduating from high school, and I'm 36 years old, and I'm looking at them like, oh my God, I'm getting old. But I enjoy those experiences because these kids, it's something that you give those kids that they carry on forever. And I encourage a lot of parents to try to get involved as well. No matter if you played or you didn't play. I have coaches on my staff that never touched the football in their lives, and kids still respect them the same way. All we try to do is try to put a positive role model in these kids' lives. And if you look at it, during football season, like I tell Phil, that's my favorite time of the year too. I show up, I'm the first one to the field in the mornings. Phil and those guys laugh at me sometimes. They show up and the field's already set up. It's my sanctuary. It's quiet. I get to set up the football fields, and it's something that these kids, I know that this is where it's going to happen at today. Like, as I set up the fields, it's kind of a sanctuary, a counseling for myself. And you'll see as you guys get involved, it's it's a well-rounded event every Saturday. Every location you go at, it's people everywhere. You'll see kids that you start to run across every week. It's kids that I see on other teams. They're Coach Brody, and my kids look at, why are you talking? We played in the day. But it's an experience, y'all. It's an experience that once my kids are done with YAFL, they're gonna have to kick me out. Like once my kids are done, I'll find more teams to coach. It's just my way of giving back, and it's my way of giving something positive back. You get kids that it keeps them out of trouble. Like and I always tell my kids, even the kids that I coach, some of these kids will leave YAFL and won't play another snap of football, but the relationships they build along the way will help them in many other different ways. Like you get a kid that'll play football and a kid that doesn't play football and see a kid that's going to get into something he has no business getting into. Those are the kids that'll pick them up along the way. And you'll see those bonds that they build, the relationships they build, they really mean something to each other. And I just appreciate you guys getting involved in this league. This league means a lot to me. And as you guys get involved in it more, it'll mean a lot to your children. Like you'll see it as the years go along. Your kids will become more and more involved. It'll give them a social base, a positive social base that'll keep them active. That'll give them something to look forward to every week. And like I said, I appreciate you guys. I'll give us a feel now, and I'm gonna give Phil for that first family stuff.
Obviously, that's one of the most important things is, you want your kids to be surrounded by people that have passion for what they do. So, like I said, we have two very passionate people, so that's why I asked if they would come and speak, and hopefully, everybody gets that same opportunity to have coaches like these two to lead their children. We're going to go through some stuff. Like I said, I know everybody has dinner plans and stuff like that, so hopefully we'll go through as quick as possible and leave some time for you guys to ask questions if you have any. We'll start off with a brief history of YAFL. The league started in 1966, so last year was actually the 50th anniversary of YAFL. So last year was a pretty big deal for us. We had a lot of little festivities to start the opening weeks and stuff like that, guest speakers and stuff, so it was a great deal. Back in its inception, it only had one season, and there's only two divisions. So they had a lightweight and a heavyweight, and that was it. So 240 players, everything was just like it is now, pretty much all volunteers. Currently, we have 126 teams in the fall, 60 teams in the spring. There's 7 age divisions, starting at 7 years old, all the way up to 14-year-olds. We actually have a flag for 5 and 6-year-olds too, correct? Flag? So flags actually offered for 5 and 6-year-olds also. Currently, there's 600 players in the spring season. We have 2,600 in the fall, around 2,600 right now, starting next Monday. The team, and like I said, the league is managed by 15 board of directors, all volunteers. Currently, we have 4 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. And those are the ones you get when you get your equipment or go to the office. Those are the people you see. Just like they stress, the only way this league is successful, just like any other sports league, youth sports league, is just volunteers. We need hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, commissioners, officials, team dads, team moms, cheer coaches, volunteer to do snacks, volunteer to do team dinners. Everybody's help is definitely appreciated within the league and within your own team. League contact information and meetings. That's the phone number for the YAFL office. If I'm going too fast, let me know if people are taking pictures of it, stuff like that. There's a physical address. By now, I'd assume most of you guys have been there for equipment issue. But if you haven't, there's another one this Saturday. We'll talk about that. Mail-in address, we have a P.O. box. So if you guys need to, there's all the contact for the office. Hours. The regular hours during the off season are Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. Saturday from 9 to 2. So Sunday we're obviously closed. During the fall season, so starting next week, correct? Starting next week, we're going Tuesday through Friday from 9 to 6. We are closed on Saturday and Sunday. The reason why we're closed on Saturday is because obviously most of the people will be at the fields helping out there instead of in the office. So Tuesday through Friday from 9 to 6, closed on Saturday and Sunday starting next week. Emails. Here's all the email addresses you have for YAFL. If you go into the contact information or contact icon on the webpage, all these emails are also on there. Like we said for the people that were here earlier, if you guys email any single one of those email addresses, both me and Bill get them. So if you need to get a hold of us and you don't have my email, which is actually I have two of them. It's YAFLpresident@nmyafl.org or nmyaflpresident@nmyafl.org. So if you guys need to get a hold of me, but like I said, if it's something urgent, just click on any of those email addresses, shoot me an email. One thing you'll definitely notice, we're very, very responsive. I'll be honest with you guys, all I do all day for work is pretty much sit in front of a computer. I'm an estimator for a construction company, so you'll usually get a response from me within 10 minutes. That's something I strive on. More than likely, you'll probably get it from my construction email because it's all filtered through that instead of me pulling out a separate thing and emailing from my iPad or my phone or something like that. I just go through my construction email. You'll get an instant response most of the time. And like I said, most of the time I'll ask for more information, stuff like that, because we want to make sure everything's handled in a timely fashion. So feel free, like I said, if there's anything that comes up that you guys want to bring to our attention, any of these emails, you'll be able to get in contact with me. Coaches meetings. Our coaches have to go to at least, they have one meeting every month. It's the first Tuesday of every month. Meetings last about an hour and a half to 2 hours. During those coaches meetings, they have guest speakers come out. They have important information, kind of like the stuff we're going over now, going over dates, functions, stuff like that. Talk about team consolidation and everything. The coaches are actually given 2 clinics. We have a spring clinic, which is more of an in-house clinic, where we have coaches, older coaches within YAFL that kind of help out the new younger coaches. They put on a little 4-hour clinic for them. Our fall clinic just happened last month. It's more of a bigger clinic. That one's about 6 to 8 hours. And we have guest speakers from the high schools that come and go over X's and O's. And we try to give the coaches as much information as they can to help them out. Most football coaches love to talk football. So it's easy, invite these high school coaches out. They'll spend hours and hours talking football to anybody. So they have a little bit of audience, so it's great to them. So we know these are a couple of things that we provide for all of our coaches. Cheers the same way. Cheers monthly meetings are the second Monday of every month. They also do have coaches clinics too, where they go over, stunts and stuff like that. And sorry, I don't know a whole lot about cheer. It's crazy. I've been a YAFL coach for 19 years and only had one cheer team. But yeah, so I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that they put just as much work as we do, trying to get their coaches prepared, trying to get the ladies prepared. So they pretty much offer all the same stuff that we do on the football side of it. Board of Directors. Board of Directors meet the second Tuesday of every month. Meetings are open to the public, so you're welcome to come and check in and see what we discuss. Actually, our Board of Directors meetings we rescheduled it for tomorrow. The reason why we're having it tomorrow is just because the fact that the season starts on Monday, and we figured to wait a little bit longer and do it on a Thursday before, so we can get a lot of this pertinent information done and ready for the start next week. We have an annual meeting of special members. That's the first Sunday of October. Special members are representatives from each team. This is when we vote for new board members. Every year there's about 3 to 4, depending on the situation, of board positions that are open. So every year we have guys or ladies come up and get nominated to be on the board, and we go through an election process. Like I said, I think you get, 3 from each team, Bill? Special members? 4 from each team. So if that's something that interests you guys, you want to be a special member, coach, and usually team mom, and then you have a couple of representatives, but you get 4 votes from each team. First Sunday in October, come by. If you're interested in running for the board, that's a perfect time. If you have any questions about the board, please feel free. We're always looking for people to help out. So. League objectives. For one thing, obviously, is to teach youth football and cheer. That's what our number 1 objective is. Sportsmanship. Sportsmanship's huge in YAFL's eyes. And that's one of the things that, from the cheer side onto the football side, that we try to portray onto all of our coaches and make sure that they're setting that example of being good sportsmen. So hopefully they're also giving that example to your guys' children. promote physical and emotional health. I mean, obviously that's important to everybody. You want your kids to be physically and emotionally healthy. And organize and manage competitive games. You know, that's one thing. You want to be competitive, but you also want it to have fun. So it's that fine line that we try to have our coaches try to, you know, balance the whole time. Sorry, and like I said, if I'm going too quick, just let me know. Challenge the parents. You know, one of the things we talk about, you know, like I said, you have a lot of passionate coaches out here, both on the cheer side and football side. Share your kids. You know, I challenge all your parents out there to share your kids with these coaches, open up, let them have their own experiences, let them enjoy it for themselves. You know, handle their disappointments. Obviously, you know, it's one of those things, just like anything in life, there's going to be ups and downs. Let them handle it, let their coaches talk them through it, talk it through and be supportive there for them. Like I said, you know, it's a great bonding experience between, you know, your kids and the other kids on the team, but between you and your kids also. Can you show, this is always a good one. Can you show your kid how to have self-control? Okay? It comes from the parents. Honestly, you know, you can tell your kids one thing at a time, you know, have self-control, make sure you're always controlling yourself, conduct yourself, you know, as a gentleman, as a lady, stuff like that. But then if you go and you do the opposite of what you're telling them, they're going to always watch what their parents are doing. Just like, you know, same thing you expect from the coaches. They're going to watch what the coaches are doing. The coaches aren't acting in a gentleman manner, showing good sportsmanship. That's going to be reflected by your kids. So, you know, be the first positive influence. I know most of you guys are to them. You know, like I said, we talked about it in the last slide. We want competitive games. They're going to be competitive. You know, that's why everybody's out there. You don't want to go see blowouts and stuff like that. You want to see good, close games. It's going to be hyped. You're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of excitement out there. Keep your composure. Keep your composure. There's no reason out there. There's something that's going on within the game. There's always a proper time to bring it to your coach's attention or somebody else's attention. Just always know that there's always eyes on you, whether it's your own kid, there's somebody's kid's eyes on you or something like that. That's one of the things, you know, as a coach that I try to live by. I always know that there's, you know, obviously there's situations that happen within a game or within practice that you need to go out there and you need to handle. You just have to know the situation. Know who's around, stuff like that. Know who you're dealing with, obviously the audience. So all that stuff is very, very important. Give your child some time. You know, I think Landrick and Nicole did a great job talking about volunteering, making it, you know, as a family type atmosphere. Most coaches are going to portray that to your kids too. You know, want to be a family and stuff like that. Your kids notice, you know, how much time you give, whether it's dropping off oranges or helping flip burgers during a, you know, team function of some sort, volunteering, you know, to do a chain gang or passing out water bottles or anything. You know, make it family time. Let your kid make their own decision. You know, if they want to play a certain position, but dad played this in high school and wants them to play that, let them have their own decisions. You know, if they wanted to play a lineman, but he's a small scale team, let them give it a try. You know, you never know. But, you know, let them work it on their own. Most coaches do a pretty good job communicating with the parents, stuff like that, when you guys come up to them. So, you know they'll let you know what's best for your kid. We'll go over some basic information. Anybody have any questions as of right now? How to become a head coach. As of right now, like I said, we pretty much got all the head coaches done. I think we're still lacking one. But this is the information and stuff like that your coaches have to go through, or some of you guys that are out there, coaches, still probably need to finish the process. Submit your application. All the applications are submitted online. Once they get submitted online, they go through our CSC, which is our coaches. Yeah, make sure, and this goes for assistant coaches too, make sure you volunteer. You know, sometimes, Bernie's one of our board members too. He brought up a valid point. There's times where family emergencies happen, stuff like that, where a coach might have to step down. We've definitely had that before. So, you know, if you can volunteer as an assistant coach or some way to help, this is all the same process you'll be going through. And it does definitely help us out, because then we're not waiting at the last minute trying scrambling to fill up a coach. The more assistant coaches a team has, to me, the better it runs, the more organized it is. And like Landrick said, you don't have to know about football. There's a lot of great businessmen out there that make good coaches because they're very, very organized and they know how, to get from point A to point B. So, just anytime, especially if you have a good head coach, they'll steer you in the right direction. But, here's some of the stuff. You have the one interview with the CSC. Once you pass your interview process, you have to actually pass the national background check. All the background checks are filtered through the same company. So everybody that's a YAFL coach, assistant coach, anybody that has contact with a kid has to get a background check. So if it's a team mom, team dad, somebody that's in the box during the game has to have a background check. And we'll keep going through all the rest of the stuff. Head coaches, assistant coaches, they have to be USA certified, which is the heads up stuff. If you guys watch Monday Night Football or any of the Sunday Night Football, I'm sure you see the million commercials USA Football has on it. Each one of our coaches has to do it. The initial one is about a 4-hour certification. It's all online. Recertification takes about 45 minutes, but you have to do it every single year. Obviously football, just like anything else, is always developing. There's always better ways to do it. Certain aspects, new ways. They do a great job, USA Football, teaching you, new ways to tackle, better ways to tackle. Every single coach is learned or taught how to fit equipment properly. They're taught on signs of heat exhaustion. They're taught pretty much everything you think of in this little 4-hour thing for the most part. So each one of our each one of our coaches has to be certified. Once they're done with that, so once you get your background check, once you get your certification through USA Football, once you get approved by our CSC, then you're allowed to go get a badge. And this is very, very important, especially to you guys, to the new parents. If there's somebody out on that field that is not badged, let your head coach know. They are not supposed to be around your kids. So if they are not badged, and I'm talking, even if it's, something happens, a couple coaches have to be running late because of work, and he asks a couple dads to come and hold some pads or something like that. If they are around the kids, they have to have a badge. So like for my team, for instance, I have 6 assistant coaches. We also have a couple dads that we make them go out there and get badged just in case. Just in case if something comes up, everybody has jobs, everybody has, emergencies that happen. I don't want to ever have to run a practice with 26 kids with just 2 people. It's just too difficult. So I'll always have a backup plan, or make sure my team dad, has his background check he has to anyways. My team mom, last year, I had a chance. Some of my coaches are high school kids, so they had a game one night. So I was missing 3 of my coaches. So I had my team mom, because I knew she had a badge, to go out there and hold in practice dummies and stuff like that. Make sure, like I said, that if they're around your kids, make sure they have their badge, and they should be able to show it to you. Fall practice information. Practice starts on Monday. So hopefully, like I said, if you haven't been contacted by your coaches yet, please come up to me afterwards. We'll definitely make sure that happens as quickly as possible. The first and second week of practice, 7-on-7 or flag football, you get 8 hours max. Flag football is just for 5 to 6 year olds. I don't know if we have any in here, but you get 8 hours max per week. Tackle, you're going to do it 5 days a week for 2 hours per day. Plus a Saturday practice. Plus a Saturday practice. Saturday practice is at your pretty much coach's discretion. They don't have to do it, but most of them do. Okay, second week of practice and beyond, or third week technically, because the first 2 weeks you have it every day. The third week of practice and beyond, 7-on-7, it goes down now to 4 hours max. Or like I said, flag football for the 5 to 6 year olds in the fall. Tackle is just 4 days a week. Most coaches like either taking a Monday or Tuesday off, and then they practice for the rest of the week. Same thing, it's a 2-hour day practice. Practice times, that's at the coach's discretion. Because of obviously, light, stuff like that, more than likely it's probably going to start at 5:30 or 6, either ending at 7:30 or 8. Practice location, that's also at the coach's discretion. Coaches are welcome. They have to do a sign-in sheet. They have to go through YAFL to get approval at what park it is. Obviously, especially at this time frame now, there's a lot of soccer and stuff like that. Albuquerque, Rio Rancho don't want their fields trampled, so they try to limit the numbers. So the coaches have to put their applications in, make sure that there's an appropriate amount of teams on each park, stuff like that. If not, then we'll do it. We'll move them to a different park if needed. No practices are allowed before the official start date, and that's an official practice. If you guys have, some of you guys in the last couple of weeks probably have done something called OTAs, if your coach has contacted you, which is a little off-season type, should be conditioning type practice. That was offered, you could do it Tuesday, Thursday. There's only a certain number of parks you can do it at. So you probably saw 5 or 6 teams if you showed up there all doing it at the same number of parks. That was for the same reason. Now during the July part of the month is soccer technically and Albuquerque's eyes. So they have the first access to the park. So we went out there and said, hey, there's any parks out there that we can actually use. So they gave designated 4 parks that we can use for little off-season workouts, kind of give the kids a chance to kind of work out a little bit. So that's probably the reason why you're doing OTAs at a different park than your normal practice was. Game information. You get 8 regular season games. The only time that we don't have an 8 regular game season is if we have an odd number of teams. And I think we only have 1 division that has an odd number of teams, so that division might get a bye. The first game is August 12th. Location. We have 4 major venues that we have games at. Bullhead Park, Mesa del Sol, which is at Asleta Amphitheater, Rio Rancho Sports Complex, Heritage Park, which is in Las Vegas. Times. The game times are Saturdays, 8, 10, 12, and 2. Playoffs start on October 7th, and our championship games are October 22nd. Teams, number of players per teams. Most fall teams have around 26 players. Team and parent contract. For most, sorry, I skipped a little ahead of time. Most coaches are going to make you guys sign some kind of contract. That should be kind of what the team rules are, what to expect from within your individual team. Like I said, most coaches should make you sign it, if not all of them. So just be expecting that. Most of you, if you guys had your parent meeting, you've probably already seen it by now. Playing time. This is very, very important. Each player gets 12 plays per game, or a minimum of 6 plays per half. Obviously that can be dictated, some of the contracts will have, if you miss a practice, you miss, a half of games or something like that. There's obviously various other items that, influence the amount of playing time. That's per your coach's discretion. But make sure they spell that out beforehand. That should be in their player contract with you guys. If you didn't say anything beforehand and all of a sudden your son's not playing or your daughter's not getting the correct amount of plays, make sure you bring that to their attention. If, for some reason, find out the reason why. But if they didn't tell you, if you miss a game, like with my team, for instance, you miss a practice, you miss a half of football. You miss both practices, you don't play the game. If you're only allowed four practices a week, and the kid's missing, half the practices, one, I don't think I can prepare them for that Saturday. That's just the way I am. Luckily, that rule never really gets broken. Obviously, there's certain circumstances that are, that you're fine with as a coach. If it's a family emergency, a death in the family, a kid gets sick, stuff like that, usually I just ask for a doctor's note. For me, for the way I do it, I ask for a doctor's note and stuff like that, because I obviously don't want a kid showing up to my practice with strep throat to get everybody else sick. So, those are some excuses that are fine. So most coaches do have excuses, but make sure, like I said, there's some kind of contract or they lay out what the guidelines are beforehand. Oh yeah, I'll have you do that. Before we go on with the questions and comments and stuff like that, one of the reasons our board members is Bernie's big on the Student Athlete of the Year. He's the one that started it, 4 years ago? About 4 years ago. It's a great program. Obviously, one of the things we're trying to advocate is not just the athletic side of sports, but the academics, the book side of it. So he's just going to talk about the student athletes, especially for a lot of you new kids. This is a great program, and hopefully you guys put your application in.
All right, so I'm Bernie Lujan. I've been on the board for 8 years. So I think if you can be top-notch on the field and really stellar in the classroom, you're special. Anybody disagree with that? It takes a lot of work to go to practice, go home and crack the books. So we want to acknowledge those young men and women, cheer as well as football players. This year, we're going to have a banquet, and we're trying to get a really stellar presenter to be at that banquet. But we acknowledge you guys, and we want to make it special for them. So we're working on it this year. In the past, we have been we partnered up with the All Metro tournament, All Metro banquet. But this year, we're going to probably do our own thing and have our own banquet, and we will put that out. But these are the requirements. Football's only like, what, July, August, we start school in August, season's over in October, so you can't really get a real picture how well that individual did in school. So we asked for you to give us the grades for the previous year to show how well they did. Do you guys understand that? Okay, so we'll work closely with Rio Rancho APS and Las Unas to make sure that they help you get those report cards. And a lot of times there are. The other requirement is, what do you do outside of football? Do you do any community service? There's a recommendation. What kind of character does that person have, that child have? We want to acknowledge them because we want to put them on the right road, right? Anybody disagree with that? So if your child is that child, because they have good mentoring and they're really working hard on the field and working hard in school, we want you to apply, please, okay? If you have any questions about that later, it's on the website, we'll blast it tons and tons of times. Please accept it. Last year we had a very minimal participation. It was pretty disappointing. And I know the kids are working hard, and I know there's not a single parent that doesn't want their child to do well in school. Okay, so we want to acknowledge those kids. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Bernie. Right now, we're just going to go over some basic questions and comments that we've heard from our last parent orientation, some of the stuff that we get within the office. Obviously, if you have more questions other than the ones that we bring up, please, there'll be a little bit of time at the end. You guys can definitely ask them. When will I be contacted by my coach? Okay, I think we already talked about that a couple of times, but team consolidation happened, I think it was more towards the end of June this year because of the fact we kind of changed our equipment issue process. So it happened more towards the end of June. But by now, you should have been contacted by your coaches already. If you haven't, like I said, please come up to me afterwards. We'll get your information. We'll definitely look into that, get back to you tomorrow on it. Okay, and Bill brought up another point too. If you guys want to go home, you have internet connection when you get home tonight, underneath the parent tab on our website, if you do find my coach, you can enter in your son's information or daughter's information. Yeah, and you just put in your account information, and it'll tell you exactly who your coach is too. So, but like I said, if you want us to look it up for you tomorrow, that is no problem. Just come up to me afterwards. What's the registration fee for? Okay, the registration fee that you guys pay, the $190, depending on if you play spring or fall. Obviously, it's more or less if you get a package deal. But that covers insurance, the helmet, chin strap, shoulder pads, a practice jersey or game jersey if your coach wants to use it that way, pants, mouthpieces, officials, and field cost. Obviously, we have to rent most of the fields from either Albuquerque or one of the counties or Sandoval County or something like that. So there's all these costs that are associated with it that comes out of the registration fee. After I pay the registration fee, is there any other fees involved? Okay, this is a very, very important rule. Fall football coaches can ask for $28.50 per player. Fall cheer coaches can ask for $35. That's it. Obviously, if you guys want to donate more money to your team, that's up to you. But this is the maximum amount that a coach can actually ask you for. Okay, and most of the time, if you did, there's a team registration fee, so that this goes to, and that's a lot of times what coaches ask for. This amount for is to kind of go over a team sponsorship fee, excuse me. So that's what this amount goes for. Are donations to the team tax deductible? Donations made directly to the team are not tax deductible. Individual teams do not have a tax exempt number. okay? If you have a company that wants to donate the team sponsorship fee, okay, which is $800, they have to write the check directly to YAFL, and we can give them our tax deductible number or tax ID number. But that check has to be made, obviously, directly to YAFL because we're the ones providing them with the tax ID number. So if you have a business, you want to donate the sponsorship fee of $800 to your team, write the check to YAFL. YAFL will get you a letter with our tax ID number and all that important stuff on it. Your coaches should have this information and probably told you that also. If my child does not like football for whatever reason, can I get a refund? There are no refunds. If there's an issue on a team, please make the league aware of it so we can address your concerns. We will allow your money to get rolled over to the following season. Does it happen? Yes. Like I told the parents that were here earlier, I've been coaching football for 19 years. My son only played for me for 2 years. He's only 10 years old. He did not like football. Just not his deal. He's more into computer games and stuff like that. He knows football is my passion, so, you know, I continue to coach for the last 2 years without him. He comes out and plays on his iPad while we're at football practice, but I mean, that's just the way it is. To me, this is the most important thing. If there is an issue, bring it to our attention. You know, one of the things is, you know, obviously, you know, in an ideal world, we want everything to be perfect, but it's not going to be. But the only way we can help you with any situations, whatever it is you got to let us bring it to our attention. We tell the same thing with coaches. If you let me know, you email one of the email addresses, stuff like that, we're going to do everything possible we can to try to help you or at least get you the proper information. But the only way we can do that, you know, the people in the office, me as a president, the only way we can do that is if you bring it to our attention. Do I need to bring my child's birth certificate? If you are new to YAFL, yes you do. If you're new to YAFL and you haven't been in our system before, you have to bring the birth certificate down to YAFL and they'll make a photocopy of it. Actually, they just verify it and give it right back to you, that's right. Like I said, my son doesn't play anymore, so I forgot how the whole rules work. But, so they'll bring it back to you, they just look at it, make sure that the birth date on the birth certificate matches the one that's within the system, hands it right back over to you. Same thing, trying to verify your address, but we don't do that as much anymore. What happens if my son gets hurt and needs to go to the doctor? Does YAFL insurance cover the cost? The cost of your child's health care is the responsibility of the parent or guardian through their primary insurance. If you do not have primary insurance, YAFL does have a secondary insurance. There is a deductible. YAFL secondary insurance does not cover co-pays or out-of-pocket expenses associated with your primary insurance. Everybody understand that? Next question. What happens if my child gets a concussion? If your child is diagnosed with a concussion, per state law, this is a state law from 7 years old all the way up through high school, even college if the kids play here. So this is mandated by the state. Your child is not allowed to return to play for a period of 240 hours or 10 days. They can only return to play after receiving a doctor's release. Most of you guys have signed or should sign the concussion awareness form. That's what it's called, right? Okay, when you do registration, we always obviously want to talk about this. And like I said, this is a state mandated law. So if your son continues or daughter continues to play through high school, this is the same law they're going to have to abide by then. What happens if there's weather? Okay, this is a huge question. Okay? Practicing games will usually continue or beyond usual scheduled, except in the case of lightning. Okay, if there's lightning, we follow the National Federation State of High School Associations 30 for 30 rule. What is the 30 for 30 rule? Practice or games will be stopped for 30 minutes once there is a visual flash of lightning and a bang of thunder is less than 30 seconds away. Okay, play will not resume until at least 30 minutes after the last thunder is heard. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, and like I said, if there's ever an incident, especially now during monsoon season, that there is lightning, make sure you bring it to your coach's attention or call an assistant coach over and let them know and stuff like that. A lot of coaches now use, we have little things on our phones, there's apps now that actually tell you, and beep and tell if your lighting's too close, and does this 30 by 30 rule. But,
Best one.
you know, like I said, you know, bring it to your coach's attention. If you see lightning in the past, they'll listen for thunder and they'll follow their 30 by 30 rule. Okay, more additional questions. We believe your season will be successful with the 3 Ps. Presence. Be present there for your kid, both physically and emotionally. Participation. Make sure you get involved. I mean, we talked about all these things before. Make sure you participate with all the team functions, as many as you can. Partnership. Be a good partner with your children's coach, their staff, and the league. Like I said, we're all here to help each other out. Same thing with your coach within your individual team. Unless you bring it to their attention of something that you want, you know, to discuss, they're not going to know about it. Obviously, make sure you guys are following the guidelines. Like I said, most coaches, for me, for instance, which I think is what most coaches follow about, if there's something you want to, you know, concern or something you want to bring up, some kind of comment, do it before practice or after practice. Don't, you know, unless it's an extreme emergency, don't flag a coach down during practice. They're there to watch your kid, make sure that the whole, you know, atmosphere is safe, stuff like that. They don't need to be having their concentration, their focus pulled away by people waving them down all the time. If it's a water break or something like that, you know, I'm sure you're watching the coach call over the coach during a water break or something like that. The most important time is before and after practice. You know, go grab your coach, pull them to the side, discuss whatever you need to with them. Like I said, if you guys could, you know, being a coach myself, I'm sure the other coaches will tell you the same thing. It's hard to get pulled away from a drill. And more than likely, it's not going to happen anyways. The parents trying to flag me down unless I know it's an extreme emergency or something like that. I'm going to wait till that drill's in a safe situation before I leave it. And what I mean by that is I'm going to wait till one of my other assistant coaches comes over and takes over for me or something like that. Or I'm going to wait till a water break. So, you know, I'll just tell them, you know, I'll get to them later or something like that. But like I said, most coaches I think are going to do the exact same thing. Closing comments. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for everything you do with your children. And hope you guys volunteer within our league somehow. Like I said, you know, it's a league based off volunteers. We obviously need as many as possible. If any of you guys are interested in making a little extra money and being an official, we always need officials. If you have a high school kid that's interested in being an official, perfect way for them to make, you know, some good money on a Saturday, going and watching some football and officiating some games. If you want to volunteer as being a team mom, team dad, you know, volunteer to do snacks, any of that stuff, assistant coaches of any sort. Like I said, you don't have to know football. You just have to have a passion for being with kids. Being out there and being a good sportsmanship, being a good role model, that's what all head coaches are looking for. So, you know, please volunteer. Well, that's it. Anybody have any questions? Anything I can answer for you? Like I said, I know everybody has something to do, so I try to, you know, go through it in a timely manner. Probably go home and feed your kids and get them strong, get them ready for next week. So I know that's very, very important to everybody. If you do have a question, I know, you know, we like talking in front of people, and just like Nicole said, I can talk for hours if I need to, especially when it comes about football, any aspect of it. A lot of people aren't that way. If there is a question or concern you have, a comment you want to make, email me. Like I said, you'll get pretty much an instant reply for the most part, unless I'm traveling. I do travel sometimes, but not during football season, obviously. But yeah, if you guys need have anything, please bring it to my attention. Same thing, you know, Bill gets CC'd on all the emails to you, so one of us will definitely answer it for you. Anything from anybody? Yes.
So my kid is in the Mighty Mites.
Okay.
We were initially in the Baldino Vista district, and something happened where I guess teams had to be consolidated. And now we're on a Trisco Heritage team, which is way far from us. So I just wanted to know what happened and how do we find like a practice facility where it's close enough for everybody.
Well, so that's the one thing. Like I said, that the practices are at the coach's. Is he'll be the one that kind of dictates or says where the practice is at. Obviously, consolidation. Jim could probably answer more of the questions than me, but for basic consolidation is when we have a rule where a coach has to give every kid 12 plays. Number-wise and feasibility-wise, the most plays you can pretty much have is about 26. Ideally, you'd like less than that, but that's about the limit that we see before you get into issues, because obviously there's just not enough plays in the game. Some coaches can balance it pretty well. I have 27 on my roster because I've been doing it for a while, but it makes it very difficult. The way they consolidate is, especially in the Mighty Mites division, because I think there's only, what, 7 teams?
6.
There's only 6 teams. So the way they do it is pretty much whatever team had an established coach and the majority number of players on it. So Trisco Heritage, throwing numbers out there, might have had 16 at a time, or Volcano Vista only had 8 and didn't have a coach. We're always going to push those kids to the teams that have coaches. And we're trying to obviously do it to whatever district is closest to the one you live in.
Right.
So for that instance, that was probably the closest one. Yeah, believe it or not. So the way I would look at it, not knowing it off the top of my head, is there's probably very few west side teams. So we just kept going down the line to the next west side team.
Phil, there's 2.
Yes.
There's just 2.
See, so there's only 2 of them. So there's only 2 west side teams. So that was probably the closest west side team. The other one I think actually was Sioux Cleveland, which is full.
Yep.
So that's another issue, is they had 26 kids right away. So that's kind of the thing. We're trying to balance that. Obviously, we want to give the kids the best experience possible. And the only way they can have a good experience is by giving as much playing time as possible. So we try to keep them where they, we would love to keep it between that 20 and 26 number. Like I said, I've been in the league for a long time. About 4 years ago, I had 30 kids on my roster. Impossible. I mean, at that time, I was already in the league for 15 years. And there's literally not enough plays in the game to get 30 kids playing time. So, I mean, that's just one of the things we try to do. But, just like anything, it's just a balancing act. So hopefully that answered it good enough.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Great. Like I said, I mean, if you have any questions, if something comes up, please feel free to email one of us. We'll definitely get back to you. If you want to come talk to one of us in person here afterwards, we'll be standing around for a little while. If you have a concern, about your coach hasn't reached out to you yet, please come talk to me and we'll get your information. Yeah, actually, Bill brought up a good thing. Obviously, this year is the first year we've ever had this parent orientation while we did it a couple years ago. But it wasn't in a live setting. We just kind of posted it online, did a quick little video, had it online on YouTube. And you guys feel like it's beneficial? You guys got information hopefully you guys otherwise wouldn't get. That's one of the things we want to do. If you guys, obviously see from me, I'm definitely an open book type person. So, I mean, I want to put a face out there and see what, if you have any questions, like I said, especially the kids that are in the room. My name's Phil Blake, if you see me out there on a Saturday at Bullhead or Rio Rancho, say, hey, what's up, Coach Blake? That's one of the reasons I do it. Parents the same way. If you ever have a question out there, you need to flag me down, come flag me down. Like I said, we'll try to get you an answer as quick as possible. So, I'm glad you guys thought it was beneficial. Any other questions? Well, like I said, we appreciate it. If there's anything else that you guys need answers for that I can help you with, please come up. Thank you guys.